Lights over Black Mesa. On a quiet July night in Kayeta, Arizona, the moonlight barely lit the red sands and tall silhouettes of the sandstone buttes. Quenton Yazzie, a full-blooded Navajo man in his late 20s, stepped out of his house for a midnight walk, a habit he'd kept since his grandfather told him that the night listens better than the day. As he wandered the outskirts of town, near the edge of the desert, where the old cattle trails faded into nothing, something strange caught his eye. High above the mesa, unmoving in the star-splashed sky, were 7 glowing lights. They pulsed softly, arranged in a perfect triangle. Quenton stopped cold. His heart thudded. He remembered. He'd only been a boy when it happened, March 13th, 1997, but he never forgot the stories. The massive triangle-shaped craft over Phoenix, seen by thousands. The government shrugged it off, but the elders, they knew. They said it wasn't human, and now it was here, over Kayeta. As Quenton stared up, the lights began to rotate slowly. Then, without warning, a beam of pale blue light shot down, locking onto him like a spotlight. The air around him buzzed. His limbs grew heavy. He couldn't move, paralyzed. He felt himself rising. His shoes hovered inches above the ground. His screams caught in his throat. Inside the light, it felt cold. Time slowed. He could make out the underside of the craft now. Metallic, seamless, humming like a giant beehive. Then the beam pulled him into it. The inside was quiet, dim, clinical, alien. As he was floated down a narrow corridor, he saw something that made his blood run cold. 3 teenagers, pale, dazed, wearing old clothes from another time. One wore a Nirvana hoodie, the other a flannel shirt tied around his waist. A girl sat near them, rocking silently, her shoes dusty and scuffed. Quenton knew their faces. Posters of them had been pinned up across the Southwest for years. They went missing in 1997, same night as the Phoenix Lights. "They're still alive," he whispered, voice cracking. One of the boys turned slowly and locked eyes with Quenton. The teen's lips moved. "Help. Us." That's when something inside Quenton snapped. Fueled by fear and raw emotion, he broke free. With a sudden surge of strength, he lunged out of the beam, crashing through a metallic wall. Sirens blared, if that's what you could call the rising synthetic wail echoing through the craft. He ran. He didn't know how, but he ran through twisting, shining corridors, past glowing symbols and tall, thin shadows that reached for him. And then the same blue beam opened below him. Quenton jumped. The next thing he remembered was waking up face down in the desert. His heart pounded. His body was covered in red dust, his arms trembling. The ship was gone. The sky was still again. The stars didn't seem the same that night. Back home, shaking and breathless, Quenton tried to tell his story. Most didn't believe him, but a few old-timers, the ones who still spoke the old tongue and remembered the Chindi spirits, simply nodded in grim understanding. And Quenton, every time he closes his eyes, still sees their faces, those lost teens, frozen in time aboard that ship. He doesn't walk at night anymore.